Hello students, welcome to the second session of the poem How to Tell Wild Animals. In the previous video, we had discussed the poetic device, the rhyme scheme and certain facts about the poet, etc. Now in this video, I am going to explain the whole poem stanza wise and some key points related to the poem that I am going to present before you. It will help you to understand the poem in a better way. So let us begin with the sum and substance of the poem. The key points here are: the poem revolves around the dangerous ways to identify the wild animals, as we have already studied in the previous video. Name of wild animals that the poet has mentioned in the poem. These animals are Asian lion, Bengal tiger, leopard, hyena, bear, crocodile and chameleon. These animals can be identified easily with the help of their specific features as the poet has suggested. So this is the main theme of the poem. Now we will take up the next key point, that is the element of humor in the poem. As you know, we have in the previous session we had come to know about this poem that it is a humorous poem, a funny poem. The poet has suggested many ways to identify the animals, the wild animals, and these suggested ways or methods that the poet has mentioned, they create humor. So how this humor element the poet has included in the poem, that we will come to know when we will go with the explanation of the whole poem. So let us discuss the key points in this regarding this element of humor in the poem. Now these points are that this poem has been written in very interesting and entertaining way. To create humor, various methods have been suggested by the poet. Humor lies in these suggested methods. The poet has treated the ferocious animals with a bizarre humor. The words that the poet has used to describe the wild animals are very relevant as far as expression of emotions are concerned. We can take one example of the Bengal tiger. Now in the second stanza, the poet has said that in the first two lines of the second stanza, that or if sometime when roaming round a noble wild beast greets you. Now the poet has called the Bengal tiger noble wild beast. Now at a time the Bengal tiger, it is called noble and wild. So noble and wild together it has been called. And then the poet says, just note, if it eats you, if it attacks, when you come across this animal, and if it eats you, it will help you to learn how that this wild animal is the Bengal tiger. Now when the animal will eat us, okay, then it is all over. There is no purpose, there is no sense of identifying an animal. Already it has eaten us, it has killed a person. Then where is the question? How that person who has been killed by the tiger will identify that animal? There is no use of it. So in this way the poet has tried to create humor in the poem. Now we will take up the next part, that is the title. How far this title is just, how far it is an appropriate title. So this is the justification of the title. Now students, as when we see this title, okay, then the title, how to tell wild animals, definitely it is an appropriate title. It clearly gives a glimpse of the central theme of the poem. It suggests that how we can identify wild animals on the basis of certain specific features or characteristics. So this is an appropriate title. The title has been justified. Okay, and next we take that the title. Is there any irony? Yes, there is irony in the title. The irony in the title is that the poet suggests some ways to identify wild animals, but the ways are too dangerous and cannot be attempted. So the ways suggested by the poet are futile. So The poet says that you can adopt these measures, you can adopt these methods to identify the wild animals. But in reality, in practice, in practical way, if we put it, then these methods are not applicable. We can't go with these methods. So here is the irony. Not only in the title, there are stanzas also where we can find the example of irony. For example, the Bengal tiger has been called noble wild beast. Now, noble and wild, they are. Now, it is an example of oxymoron also, that noble and wild, these two terms are going side by side, they are opposite to each other. So, wild beast cannot be noble at all. Okay, so this is the irony that the poet has mentioned in the second paragraph. Now let us begin the explanation of this poem. See the first stanza. If ever you should go by chance to jungles in the east, and if there should to you advance a large and tawny beast. Now tawny, that is yellowish brown color of the skin of an animal. Okay, so a large and tawny beast. If he roars at you as you are dying, you will know it is the Asian lion. Now in this stanza, the poet has referred, she describes the Asian lion. She talks about the Asian lion, and she says that to the readers that if you, by chance, if you get an opportunity to visit a jungle, okay, and you come across a wild beast whose skin's color is yellowish brown, and it is large in size, and if it roars at you, and this roar, it is so terrific, so horrifying, that one will die just after listening to that roar, then no doubt that wild animal is the Asian lion. So this is the description of the Asian lion. In the second stanza, the poet talks about the Bengal tiger. See the second stanza. Or if sometime when roaming around, a noble beast greets you with black stripes on a yellow ground. Now yellow ground refers to the yellow skin, okay, outer skin of the animal. Just notice if he eats you. This simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to discern. Discern means to identify. Okay, so in this stanza, the poet talks about the Bengal tiger. She tells that it is a royal animal. It belongs to a royal clan. It is noble and it has black stripes on its yellow skin. And this animal, when you come across this animal, if he eats you, then this is the simple way that will help you to learn, to identify that this is the Bengal tiger. Now here lies the humor, that when the animal has eaten, okay, then how, there is no question of identifying. It is not possible, it is impossible. So this line generates humor in the poem. Now let us take the third stanza. If strolling forth a beast you view. Now strolling forth, strolling means moving casually, and forth means forward. So when you are moving very casually forward, you are going ahead. A beast you view. So you are able to see a wild animal whose hide with spots is peppered. That is, you can see spots, many spots on its skin. As soon as he has leapt on you means it has jumped over you, it has attacked you. You will know it is the leopard. It will do no good to roar with pain. He will only leap and leap again. And the poet, she says that there is if somebody is attacked by a leopard, and that person, the victim, if he or she starts crying with pain, roaring with pain, that will not put any effect on the leopard. It will not spare its victim, and that victim has to die. He will continue attacking his victim. So the poet says that you can identify leopard with the help of those spots, and if the leopard, once it attacks you, it will continue till the victim is dead. Next comes the stanza. Here the poet has written, if when you are walking around your yard, you meet a creature there who hugs you very, very hard. Be sure it is a bear. Be sure it is a bear. If you have any doubts, I guess he will give you just one more caress. Now, here the poet, she tells about bear, the wild animal, and she tells she tells the reader that if you are walking in your yard, that is the lawn area of your house, and there if you meet a creature who hugs you, and that hug is very, very hard, not very soft and gentle, surely that hug given by that animal is that animal is a bear. So the bear will give a very hard hug. So you can identify the bear with that hard hug. And then in the next two lines, the poet contradicts herself. She says that if you have any doubts, now if you are doubtful, if you have any doubt that whether that animal, you are not sure whether that animal is a bear or not, he will give you just one more caress. Caress means a loving, soothing, gentle touch. So a bear, on first occasion, it is giving a hug that is very hard, not soft, not gentle. And then on the second occasion, when you have a doubt, then that bear is giving you a very gentle, loving, soothing touch. Okay, so this contradiction is there. Okay, and in the next stanza, the poet, she talks about a person who is very new to the job of identifying wild animals, what problem that a newcomer will face and how he can sort it out. That has been explained in this stanza. Though to distinguish beasts of prey, a novice might none plus. Now, novice means a person who is new to a job. Okay, someone new to a job. So, though to distinguish means to differentiate. Okay, to find out dissimilarity. Okay, to find out differences. Though to distinguish beasts of prey, a novice might none plus. So the newcomer will be confused how to identify the wild animals. Okay, then the poet says that okay, there are ways, there are methods that will help that newcomer to identify the wild animals. And that suggestion is given by the poet in these lines. The crocodile you always may tell from the hyena thus, hyenas come with merry smiles. So you can identify the hyenas with their cheerful smiles, but if they weep, they are crocodiles. And if you find an animal having tears in the eyes, then it is none else than the crocodiles. So you can identify the crocodiles with its tears and hyena with its cheerful smiles. And then we come to the last stanza of the poem. The true chameleon is a small, a lizard sort of thing. It is so the chameleon. It is very similar to a lizard in appearance, but there is difference between a chameleon and a lizard. And what is that difference that we will discuss in this stanza? He hasn't any ears at all and not a single wing. If there is nothing on the tree, it is the chameleon you see. Now the poet is saying that if you find a tree or if you are able to see many plants and trees and there is no animal there, nothing is there on the branches of the trees, be very sure that the chameleon is there. And the unique quality that distinguish a chameleon from a lizard is the quality of changing its skin. The chameleon has been gifted by nature a very unique ability, and that ability is to protect it from its enemy. The chameleon can change its skin's color according to the surrounding. If it is green, it will change into green. If it is yellowish, then it will change it. So this changing of color of the skin protects the chameleon, and on this basis, we can distinguish between a lizard and a chameleon. Okay, and this color changing quality of the chameleon, it is known as camouflage. Okay, so so we come to the end of this explanation, and I hope you all have enjoyed this session. Thank you, students.